Giuliano and I just got here to camp. We're going to be here for Friday and Saturday. And look at this little guy on the tree here. This is called a taturana, and they are extremely venomous. They have an irritating, those hairs have an irritating poison in them. And if you ever see one of these here in Brazil, well, first of all, in Brazil you never touch a caterpillar because they all have something that they do. But the problem is right next to them, here we got another one. And then down here on the tree, and this here is the tree I normally tie my hammock off to. And you can see that it is just loaded with taturana. And I have to kill these in order to use this tree. I'm going to get rid of them. And hopefully we won't get any more, but you can see that it seems like there's a ton of them. And it's not just this tree here. We've got more everywhere. All these trees in the camp have taturana. This is typical rainy season here in Brazil. We got in here to camp yesterday, and it was a dry day yesterday, no rain at all. And because it's rainy season, we haven't had a lot of rain yet this year, but it has started to rain. And I figured we'll have plenty of water. There's a spring right down below here, and I figured we'll have plenty of water. I hiked in with one canteen. I had a 2-liter soft carrier that was empty and another empty canteen. But I figured I'll just load up with water down in the spring. When we got there, the spring was bone dry. No water down here in camp, so I'm thinking, well, at some point we're going to get rain, and we'll have to load up. We got rain yesterday a little bit and loaded up 3 liters of water off the tarp here. But this is the way it is here in Brazil. It rained pretty much all night, and then this morning it just cut loose. So we're in here in camp just hanging out. And we got here to camp yesterday. I showed you those taturana, those caterpillars. They are very, very venomous caterpillars. If you touch them, they'll blister your hands. It's a very nasty creature, and there were hundreds of them here in camp. I went around with them in my machete and just cut hundreds and hundreds of them in half, everywhere. And then you got to be careful you don't step on them with your bare feet. They're all in the undergrowth here. Just a very nasty, typical Mata Atlântica thing to have to deal with. But this rain, we have no water problems anymore. We've got all kinds of water, more water than we want. Very typical, but you can see I've got my Hennessy hammock and I've got the small tarp over top of the Hennessy. For rainy weather jungle camping, you cannot beat having a large tarp. The larger tarp you can carry is always your best option. With the Hennessy, I've got this very small, very effective little tarp that covers the hammock, but it doesn't give you any kind of dry area below the hammock to cook or change your clothes or just be in a dry environment. It's really nice to have a 3x4 meter tarp in the jungle. Yeah, I throw it up over top of the Hennessy and the tarp, and just you have room to live underneath a large tarp. We have another tarp set up over here over top of our fire to keep our fire nice and dry. And then Giuliano's got his hammock set up over there with another large tarp. The only living space you're going to have in a rainforest is what you can provide for yourself underneath the tarp. So don't skimp on your tarp. Carry as big a tarp as you need. Our standard procedure when you arrive in a camp location like this is you throw up your tarp first. You get your tarp up, you got 3x4 meters of dry ground underneath it, or dry space underneath it, that you can then build the rest of your camp. You hang your hammock and everything after you put your tarp up. There's really no other way. These 3x4 meter tarps are absolutely essential at this time of year. In dry season, I don't bother to carry it. You will not experience rain here in dry season at all. The little tiny tarp over the Hennessy hammock is fine for that, but in rainy season you have to carry it. There's just no way you can get around it. We're just lucky that Giuliano brought his extra tarp this time to throw up over our fire area. If you keep your fire low, you won't melt the tarp, but you do have to be careful with sparks and things that can, burn holes in the tarp. Okay, the rain slacked off enough that I can get out from my shelter. Just to give you an idea how much rain we just got. You can hear the water here flowing. This was bone dry when we got here yesterday. And this was going to be our source of water. You can see now. We're in like it's completely flooded, filled with water. The rain is slacking off a little bit. I can only hope that this is going to stop. Just a minute ago, we had the top of a tree fall off over here. I don't know if you can see this. Right up in there, basically half a tree fell down. Not that one that's leaning, it's back a little bit, but it's just there's so many vines and there's so much stuff growing up into the canopies that when a tree dies, it has a lot of weight on it. And when it gets soaked like that, things can come down. So we checked the area of the camp yet again to look for anything dead up above us. There's nothing dead up there, but you got to be really careful. There's such dense vegetation here that things can come down, and you can't always see what's up there where you camp. And you got to be very careful with things like that. We are hoping this rain's going to slack off a little bit and give us a chance of driving out of here. I've got my Honda Civic parked up above. And I've got about 18 kilometers of dirt road, which will be mud road, to get out of here today. This is rainy season in Brazil.